Peace to the planet Earth. It's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Sunday. And we're here with another episode of Love vs. Prison, episode numero 7. Yes, okay. I had to double check. But what I'm excited about today is, really, I'm excited about her show, which is getting ready to come up. A lot of people are excited about that. What's the name of your show? You go ahead and shout your own show out.
Prison Wife Chronicles.
She sounded so enthusiastic about it. Prison Wife Chronicles.
Because that.
Throw the marker at. I'm excited. I've heard a little bit. She hasn't told me much. I haven't asked much. I guess I'm about to ask now. This episode, I'm excited because I get to interview her in prep for her show, which is going to take over.
Which I didn't know, by the way.
Yeah. And I already got questions.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I got questions. But aside from that, how has your week been going? How has everything been going? Anything you want to shout out? Anything?
Yes. Obviously, we weren't here last week. And just shout out to Miss Mo. I had the awesome honor of being honored for Educator of the Year, and that was amazing. So shout out to Miss Monique Yesenia. I met some great women. I'm pretty sure I'll be linking with them soon. I have so many opportunities in the near future just to meet with these ladies, talk to these ladies, and just further expand just the networking of it all. But it was beautiful to celebrate it, and it was beautiful to uplift other women while doing so. So I'm very, very excited and happy about that. Yeah, it was. It was beautiful. And that's really it.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going straight into the questions. Rapid fire questions.
Oh
I got 116 different questions. Some of these have been submitted by people that are excited about your show.
Okay.
And some of these I might have slipped in myself. I don't know. We're going straight into it. Without telling us right now what your show exactly is going to be about, I know people are taking guesses based off the title. But without really getting into what your show is about, tell us why you want to do a show, why you think it's important to do one.
I think it's important for this time in my life to be more vocal. I am an extroverted person, but I have never really given the platform to speak about all of the experiences that I've experienced in life. So it's not going to just entail prison chronicles per se. It's going to deal with other aspects of my life. The same information that I share with people in my book, About to Lose It, is right behind me if you can see it, written by LaShawn Myers. I'll also be getting into more depth about my second book, Tenacious Faith When I Stood Still, which is also going to debut at the end of this year. So I want to get into some of the things that led up to this place in my life. And I'm going to dig into the past and deal with some of the things that I probably never introduced to the public on this platform before. It's going to give me the time to actually exercise some of the experiences that I've dealt with before Christopher. And I think it's important to indulge in some of those things so we can kind of unpack anything that anybody else may have gone through or similar situations. I think it's a time to kind of build up and bring together other women that can potentially be going through the same thing or may not even know what they're about to get into, more importantly. So if we can prep each other and have a platform design where we can have open dialogue and conversation, I just think it's my way of showing the world I'm doing my part to kind of make it a little bit better for the next person, if I can.
Listen.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I don't know. It was hard for me. Her first book is fire, but as being her husband, it was just hard for me. It was a hard read. It was. Nobody wants to read or, you know what I'm saying, think about some of the things your loved one went through. So, but I know you guys will get a lot from it because, like I said, her story is crazy. And for her to be where she's at it's amazing.
Yeah. So we're going to get into a little bit of that.
Indeed. All right. Let's get into some of these questions right here. This is a good one. because you spoke about getting into some of the things before me.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a good question. It's kind of a segue into this. How has being the wife of somebody who was, well, now is formerly incarcerated, changed you?
Well, I talk about this all the time. I talk about the patience factor. I talk about the level of patience that I've literally had to build up. Rather, I thought I had enough. We've endured so much more. So I had to develop even more patience. It has allowed me to open up my heart more to other people, justice impacted people more specifically in a different type of way. My father's experience was much different. And I'm going to get into my story more so on my show, but um, even though I married somebody who was in prison, I still was a justice impacted person. My biological father is doing life in prison, but it did not start off that way. When I was quite young, he wasn't sentenced till I was about 5 or 6. He then got out, and there was back and forth with me and my father. And the relationship was just what it was. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's affected me in a way of I've never really seen so much positivity on this side of things. Growing up, it wasn't like that. I was shown the complete opposite. So to be able to open up my heart in this way, and still be able to marry an individual in this way, I feel like it shows immense change just in me, or just to somebody else who may look at the board a little bit different, in a different way. So that's how it's kind of impacted me and changed me, but I believe for the better.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Next question. Next question is, what advice would you give to someone who is just starting out as a quote unquote prison wife?
Well, first of all, you have to figure out, you have to have a sense of individuality. And on a previous episode, we kind of touched on how Christopher has his own independence. I have my own independence. Yes, we're married. Yes, we're one. But if the situation is going to cause more hurt or more harm than good, you kind of have to weigh the cost. Is it going to be financially stressful? Is it going to be emotionally draining? Are you a person that has to sleep next to the person every single night? If you're in a committed relationship, what types of things are you willing to go without in order to see if this is really going to be key for working, in your favor, in the incarcerated loved one's favor as well. So if you're not really ready to make the commitment and really do a bid and really bid with that person, it's not for you. I feel like there's certain things that we can look inside of a individual to see how strong their work ethic is. Are they in school? Are they trying to pursue things, while they're behind bars? If they're not trying to do anything with their life inside of prison, 9 times out of 10, when they get out, it's probably a great chance that they're not going to do anything on the outside either. You know what I mean? And if the person you with is hustling, if they, I just feel like it's just certain things that you in the visitation room, you see what's going on. You can at least pick up on signs. You know how many times the person calls you. You know how many times they, write you emails. Is it just all about you, and that connection to the outside world? Or is it two people on the same page really trying to build something? If you're not trying to build nothing, you're just wasting time. It just is what it is. If not, it's no need.
In life.
In life.
Do you feel like sometimes people get, okay, wait, is it when you talk to people that are in these relationships, do you feel like people are more caught up in the reality or the fantasy of it all?
I think it depends on what attracted you to the individual in the first place. I did not see Christopher's looks initially. I didn't want to see his looks on purpose. And to be honest, the first picture that I sent him with me, he swear to this day that it
she
was
sent
not
me a
me.
picture of somebody, a whole nother human being.
But it was me. But I did not want it to be like the best picture. You know, it wasn't the type of selfie. Like I think I even took it to the side, like on camera. You know what I mean? I did not want it to be like all about the vanity. I didn't want it to I didn't want us to build in that way. So I think my focus was shifted in the beginning still, you know, how we could become good friends, how could we help as far as the nonprofit, you know, him and, you know, my brother Freddie, you know, everything that they had going on. I wanted to link myself with a positive individual that was going in the same direction that I was going in. So the lifestyle kind of had to match up. The mental had to match up as well. If we hadn't had certain things in common, there would be no foundation to actually build upon in the first place. And that's where we connected. We had to connect mentally. So when I seen him, obviously I'm attracted to him. You know, it makes it better. It's icing on the cake at this point. But at first, it wasn't about the looks. I don't even think I had actually seen how he looked into a couple of months in, maybe 2 months in, maybe, but it wasn't my priority. I wanted to know his mind. I wanted to know his mental. What was he on besides, you know, what I was just hearing about?
So I think a lot of these men be sending money home, and most are into it for the money and don't care how they getting into it. I mean, it's like the streets. From what I seen, just being honest, it's like the streets. It's prisons. It's individuals are either in it for the right reasons or for the wrong ones. They either telling lies or telling truths.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or they're telling half lies and half truths.
You got a lot of guys in there. It's about, I get, you know what I'm saying, money and getting on the phone. They're in it for the wrong reasons. They really don't like the female that they with, just being honest. But then you got a lot of guys that, they're lonely, and then they found a companion, and this person gave them some time and a listening ear, and they're like, I love this person. I want to be with this person because they're the only person that's listening to me. So, and then, you got guys that, like that maybe have spoke to other people, or they have jobs where they're not cut off from the world and they're not looking for a relationship. You know what I'm saying? But they run into, these things happen. I just want to say that. I mean, I feel like certain things can't stop love, can't stop relationships when it's real.
When it's real.
Yeah, when it's real.
And that's the thing, and in these conversations, and I'll say it time and time again, the conversation has to have substance. If the conversation doesn't have any substance, then you're literally wasting time. Now you're just wasting time on your part, the person you're in a relationship's part, time is going by. But if you're not getting something out of it of value, a friendship that can blossom into something better with a strong foundation, and you're not trying to have a future together, I feel like it's a waste of time. I'm not doing all of that for somebody that I don't plan on spending the rest of my life with, or I'm not just blowing money or investing anything of mine if I feel like it's going to take away from it. I was able to accomplish things while I was with Christopher, from the get-go. And I was still accomplishing things. I was in school, I accomplished that. Became a teacher after that, got a new career, accomplished that. I was able to purchase a home by myself before he even came home, accomplished that. So it wasn't just wasted time. And it does make a difference. Like, what are you trying to do? It can't be just because you want companionship, because it go both ways. It's the same out here. What if you just want companionship? I remember hearing the term one time, are you sure this isn't out of desperation? You know what I mean? Beautiful woman. I know that I am. But this was not an act of that. It was literally, he was a beautiful distraction for me at that time. And I knew I needed to be hidden. I knew that I had goals that I wanted to meet. And he was able to flow freely in my life in that way for me to still accomplish everything that I set out to do without hindering me. Now, if any of that had interfered with my goals, there's no way in heck we would be in a relationship, married, or any of that. I was in a place where I was ready to receive him. He was in a place where he was ready to receive me. And it just happened in that way. It was organic. It wasn't forced. neither one of the parties. You know what I mean? It just was not forced.
Yeah. And again, these types of relationships are few and far that actually that succeed. We know that. You know what I'm saying? Um, it is case by case.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody said people gonna really do what benefits and works for them.
No question.
People should do what benefits and works for them. And it's like we always say, we're here to be used. We're just not here to be misused. So you should be getting with somebody that's gonna benefit you and that you're gonna benefit from being with. That's the goal. You know what I'm saying? You should be with somebody that it works for you to be with them. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa.
It's not taken away from.
Yeah. The issue is a lot of times we settling and then we basing what we know about relationships, love, marriage, etc. off a bunch of bad attempts, off a bunch of lies, off certain stigmas that have been placed and we've been seeing or where we grew up at, where we really didn't see good examples.
Yeah.
And then when we see a good example, we're like, oh no, they tripping.
Right, it can't be that.
No, black love is real, and some of these relationships turn into marriages, and they're successful. It's not for everybody though. That's why we up here.
It's not for everybody, but there are some that work and that can work.
No question.
I know that it can because I know some great people.
I've seen some work,
and I've seen some work.
And I've seen some crash out too, though.
Yeah, but the ones that work. Beautiful people knew who they who they wanted to be with, knew what they wanted, and were able to work together and cause it to grow and actually cultivate that, and that's a beautiful thing.
And I think they knew who they were. They had a better grasp of who they were as an individual.
Yeah, and that makes the difference.
Let me see. What's the biggest challenge you faced since being a quote unquote prison wife or being married to a justice impacted person? I think that sounds. I like that little.
The biggest challenge. The challenges that we face are different. I feel like, and obviously, I don't think it has anything to do with being justice impacted or not. The biggest challenge that we are faced with is we don't have any children yet. I'm just going to be candid. We've had 4 miscarriages. That is the biggest challenge of our lives. We can just as well say, hey, we want to adopt, or, hey, we could charge it to, it's not our time, or, some people, I've heard all kind of stuff, and I'm going to save a lot of this for the show. But that has been the biggest challenge. Hearing the comments, how you don't know is it something not working right with her? Is it something not working right with him? It's just, that is the challenge. That is the challenge for us to be around people and them being sensitive enough to at least try to be sensitive to us when it comes to that situation. And I know that it's probably not a easy thing on both parties. It's definitely has been hard for me to openly speak about, but that would have to be the biggest challenge. We got married later on in life. My first pregnancy was at 38 years old. He's getting out. We're faced with COVID. His mom moves down here. We're getting adjusted not only to the outside world, COVID, new life, essential worker, non-essential worker, miscarriage, double back-to-back pregnancies, months after that. You know what I mean? Still trying to start a business, still trying to uplift people, still focusing on advocacy work. The challenge of really just still being relatable people, still staying on our post and being on our assignment and do what we're called and instructed to do, as being as helpful as we can on this planet while we're here. So it's challenging to navigate through all of that when you feel like, as two individuals that have the same heart, share the same ministry in a sense, and the one desire that the both of us want is almost unobtainable. And it doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. It's not like I'm saying, okay, we'll never have our own family. But to think about it, this is what two people want and have been laboring for and have been wanting for a very long time. It is challenging to navigate through that. It is challenging to have conversations with other people about even children, baby showers, just a lot of different stuff. But for me, that's the most challenging part. It don't have nothing really to do with us as being a couple, but it's just that one sore spot, so to speak, or that one sensitive area in our life, that is kind of incomplete because we don't have children and we have had to go through this together. Nobody knows how we feel. You can say, and it's not a shot to nobody. You can say you love us, you pray for us, but we got to be real. It's times in my life where I feel my husband's pain because somebody asked me if I'm okay, and I know that they haven't asked my husband, is he okay? So I'm grateful that I have people that will reach out to me in that way. But when he's hurting, I'm hurting too. You know what I mean? And for certain things, I feel like not to be acknowledged, respected through the growth and through the changes, that can be very challenging too. It's two worlds coming together. We both been raised differently. I've been raised black. He been raised hood black slash Air Force prison. So it's two different people coming from two different backgrounds, and mixing the two together and continuing this fight and fighting for things that we want in our hearts on a continuous basis. That's the challenging part every day in a nutshell. That's the only challenge that I feel like has the most difficulty of being able to overcome because it's not within our control. The only thing that's within our control would literally be to go adopt. That's within our control. Yes, we can go adopt tomorrow if we wanted to. But if we're going to be real and we're going to be transparent, that's not the easiest decision to make, especially when you're hanging on to hope, especially when you're hanging on to faith. You have to really think about it, because what if something does happen down the line? So yeah, that for me is the most challenging. It's the first time I think that I've actually really talked about it openly on this show, as open as today has been. Without it affecting me crying or anything of that nature. But for me, that has been the most challenging, trying to attain things or desires in our lives that we don't have the control over, to just make happen like that. And that has been it. Yeah, that's yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm no comment on all that for me. Let me see. Let's change it up.
Okay.
How does being married to a justice impacted person impact you? Like, do you want to talk about maybe your frustration with me being on probation?
I was just about to say that. That's exactly what comes.
How maybe some people need to think about that part.
Yeah. So I was the type of person. I've been in the travel industry before this new career. I was in the travel industry 10 years prior to him. So I am used to taking trips. I am used to planning staycation. The way my life was set up is I got my 2 vacations a year and I got my 2 staycations a year. That means 2 weekend getaways or 2 weekend spa and 2 weekends in a different state. You're dealing with somebody on probation. He has to get permission. So it's not like I could just get up and go with my husband the way I would like to. Now, this is something that I actually had. My first experience was the day we got married. Obviously, the day we got married, there was no honeymoon. The day we got married, he was behind bars. I drove away in my wedding dress by myself. You know what I mean? So that was something that it just totally switched it up. That meant once he got home, that was...
Our honeymoon was a phone call. I think.
Yep.
2 40-minute phone calls, 40-minute worth of calls.
Yeah. Yeah. So you have to think about all that.
And a visit.
Hey, you know what I mean? Is it worth really being shackled with that same person that's shackled too? They can't move and go like they please. You know what I mean? But you still have to be willing to deal with that. And are you going to make the necessary adjustments that so that they feel comfortable, either to allow you to do it by yourself or for you not to do it at all because you can't do it with your significant other? That is something to think about. And that's a part of it.
That's it. That's the only thing that's affected you.
I think that's really the
Any probation anxieties? Do you feel like have you ever felt like I could have got in trouble or
probation anxieties.
like
Yes.
the Goodwill situation? I've talked about that, but like, do you sometimes worry about stuff like that?
Yeah, but I just feel like I'll touch on it. I'll touch on it soon. I'll just say that. I'll touch on it soon.
Definitely understand. I can touch on it without touching on it, but I understand. You want to be able to just go in.
I want to speak freely. You know what I mean?
Coming soon.
Basically.
To a theater near you.
Basically.
It's been a long ride.
All right.
And I've been up since 4 a.m. too, guys. If you're wondering why I'm over here yawning, I have no idea why I got up at 4
I was just about to say.
My only day I could have rested, by the way. I think it's habit. These questions have already been asked. Oh, what are some surprises about your show that people might not know about or might not think about that they'll see on your show?
So one of the surprises is I am a divorcee before I was married. So I am going to talk a little bit about that. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I will be talking about divorce for those who may be going through divorce.
You were married before me? Oh my God. No, just one this way.
Anyway. It was, but I'm not gonna get into it right now. But yeah. I'm gonna talk about divorce. I'm gonna talk about employment. I'm gonna talk about help for justice impacted people. I'm gonna be talking about counseling. I'm gonna be talking about therapy. I'm gonna be talking about grief counseling. I'm gonna be talking about a lot of different things, but I'm gonna touch on some stuff that I feel like people just don't know about me. I'm gonna be talking about how I was in a movie. I'm going to be talking about how I used to do music. I'm going to be talking about a lot of stuff that people just don't know about me, period. And so those are the surprises, when I just limit it. I'll just leave it to that.
I'm going to be the executive director.
Oh, my life. You are the executive director.
I'll be behind the ones and twos of the board. You know how they got like the DJ off to the side? They're like, that'd be cool though. We do like a whole. If you'd like to see a live viewing of the Prison Wife Chronicles, message us. We'll set it up. Get an audience of like 25.
Oh, okay.
Get a microphone.
Yeah, we gonna see about that.
Set up the salon floor. I can see it now. Get
sales.
Right. We're gonna close this out with a series of rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Where basically it's really random.
And before you do that, I just want to shout out to everybody who's online watching and dropping off the comments. Thank you so much for the beautiful feedback. Hello. Thank you so much. Positive vibes only. There's certain users. Somebody said jail is starting to be a life in confinement. I want to touch on that before we do the shoot fire questions. It can feel like that, but this is why I specifically said in the beginning, you have to have your own type of life. It has to be some type of separation, because I feel like you begin to take on some of the same traits that somebody who's confined may be feeling like. Chris has high anxiety. I saw my anxiety starting to shift. I start myself thinking, questioning people's motives, ulterior motives, and things like that. He opened up my eyes to see a little bit differently, because I am a people person. I'm a very, loving person. I don't necessarily just see the negativity right away, up front and close. in personal, that's not my, that's not my DNA, that's not my makeup. So it is different, and you do, start picking up these traits. You start looking at things, in a different way, so it can open up your eyes to some things. And you're gonna have to do some things, and have some type of routine that you still have your self care. You know what I mean? Like, you still, the person gotta trust you enough. When you by yourself and you out, hanging with your girls, like, is he gonna still be calling? You know what I mean? First of all, when you answer the phone, who you with? It's already, hey, you have a collect call from, that's a whole 5, 10, 15 seconds. Every time you answer that phone, you could be at work, you got to step away. Like, it's just certain things that I just remember where it never felt like normalcy. It just didn't, even from answering the phone call. If I'm in front of my homegirl and somebody call and maybe I ain't seen her in a long time, she don't know what's going on. I'm talking to him. I want to protect the relationship, but I got to step out. I ain't never had to step out before and answer a phone call. So it's like different things. You know what I mean? I don't think that the everyday person who's just dating somebody outside of a situation like this is thinking about. These are the things you got to think about, and they cost. You know what I mean? So, hey, yeah. If you don't do something about yourself, and if you don't take care of yourself, it can make you feel just as isolated and just as confined. Christopher?
Oh, I was going to respond differently to that. Jail is starting to be a life in confinement. I'm thinking about how guys are trying to check in now or get put in a hole on purpose because of where they're at is extremely dangerous, and there's no safety there. And even those that are incarcerated deserve to be safe, deserve to be able to sleep at night, to eat and stuff like that. So I was looking at that just a little bit different.
Okay.
Excuse me. Rapid fire questions.
Yeah. Take it away. I'm ready.
These are really random. These are not pertaining to anything serious at all. This is just for our viewers to get to know you before the show begins in a few days. Really question. Favorite color? Go.
I don't really have a favorite color.
Favorite 2 or 3 colors?
It's going to be between blue, purple, and probably black. I wear black all the time. Yeah.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Oh, Coming to America.
If somebody played you in a movie, who would play you in a movie?
I don't know too many young actresses right now. That is like my age.
Want to skip past that one?
Yeah, skip.
Skip.
Mm-hmm.
If you could be born in any or live in any generation or decade or whatever, what would it be?
The 70s.
Why?
Man, the 70s just seemed like it was just a lot of fun. Either the 70s or the 1920s. I could have been.
1920s?
Yeah.
We didn't even have rights.
Well,
you weren't even allowed to vote.
1920s, maybe in a different country.
Maybe in a different country.
Yeah, maybe in a different country. But if I was here in America, definitely 1970s. I would love to skate, and hopefully I wouldn't go to war. But I'd probably be doing like the same thing. Probably would have been doing hair. It just would have been
blowouts.
I would have been doing it all, braids, all that.
I would have been in Vietnam if it was in the 70s. Unfortunately, I think I would have been drafted with a mass legion of other people that looked like me at that time. And finally, the last question really quick. Give us 3 quick reasons why they should turn into your show.
Of course. The first reason, I'm a real person who have experienced this for real, and am still dealing with this now. And it's just good to kind of have feedback from somebody that may be in a similar situation like you, and you just feel like you don't really have nobody you could talk to. There was very, very few people that I could tell my story to. Nobody can really give you advice in a situation. Everything is a case by case basis, a case by case person to person basis. Everything is different, but it does happen so often that it should be talked about. Like, we should be having open conversation about it. The laws are changing. People are being released and coming home. It is more relationships like this. And then a lot of people have been in situations where they could have potentially talked to somebody, but maybe they were dissuaded because of somebody else's circumstance, and they missed out on a great opportunity to to bond or build with somebody. So that's one of the reasons that you want to tune in. And then the third thing is it gives you the women's perspective on it. The woman on the outside, if there's anybody who just may be in need of a friend, and just maybe a listening ear. Maybe it's some insight that I can give you that I've already experienced. And maybe it's some information that you will be able to give me in order to grow too. I think all information is helpful, as long as it contains substance. And it's something that we can grow upon. And I like that. That's dope.
That's it, man.
Mm-hmm.
Other quick announcements, man. I'm sitting here thinking, if you guys didn't hear again, I want to announce it again. My wife did get honored for Educator of the Year. She shot out the event, but she got honored for Educator of the Year. I think that's amazing. I think, it's always a good thing. The Bible says when you find a wife, find a good thing, paraphrasing. But, when you find a wife that gets honored, that's a different thing right there. And that's all I'm going to say, man. I got a wife that gets honored with other dope superhero black women, as far as I'm concerned.
And it just makes me very shy. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's fire though. Like,
I know. I've never been honored before in that way.
That's real,
and it was just beautiful, and it just makes my heart smile. So.
Yeah, that's real, man. So salute, man. Salute to everybody. Salute to everybody that's pushing and supporting the content. We wanted to hop up here real quick, just do some quick Q&A.
Yep. And if anybody else has any questions, fire them out there real quick.
Send them to the email. We'll definitely respond next week. We will be back here next Sunday at 8 p.m. with Love vs. Prison, episode 8. And that's it, man. Any last words for today?
No. Just keep it positive. Have a great week. And no matter the circumstance and even everything that we have discussed, I am very, very grateful. I'm grateful for every opportunity that I have. I'm grateful for every door that has opened up for us. I'm grateful for everything, all the people that we're meeting just in this type of place, in this type of way, because I know that it's making an impact. We have, met so many just dope fire people, just period, through this journey. Even myself, through this journey. And I just know that we're continuing to be aligned with people to just make a better change in the world. And that's what I'm all about. It got to be about impact. It got to make sense. It just has to. Yeah. And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
We're going to keep pushing. I am tired. She is smiling.
I'm drinking coffee.
Yeah. I ran out of coffee 45 minutes ago. No, but we want to be up here. We definitely want to keep checking in with y'all. Just having a conversation and pushing the conversation, pushing the narrative, breaking down stereotypes, you know what I'm saying? And really just showing the truth about situations, like the good in situations. So much bad stuff and crap gets thrown out there that we've got to start, supporting positive narratives and rewriting the script. Not even rewriting the script, because it's already been written, just shining more light on it.
Just shining more light on it.
Because it's not just us. There's so many dope individuals that are coming
like
along.
We know some couples
that's
been rocking for years, even longer than us.
Yeah, most definitely.
And are still and have had to stop. Had that setback of one individual being incarcerated. Boom, come home. Everything is gravy. They in a great place, great family. So it can work, and that's the thing. It can work if you want it to work, but you got to be willing to put in the work. And with that said, that's all I have.
That's it. We out, man. Hey, we'll be back up here next Sunday. Her show begins when?
Prison Wife Chronicles is going to air May the 8th at 6:30 p.m. I cannot wait to see you there. Y'all gonna see. Y'all gonna see. It's
I'm out
like
the way.
that.
May 8th, 6:30 p.m. Prison Wife Chronicles will be back next Sunday at 8 p.m.
Yes.
Love vs. Prison 2. Of course, you got Fluid Conversations.
With your girl MJ.
Yeah, you got Mo Life. You got the After Prison Show. I'll be up here Thursday.
Miss Monique.
I'll be up here Thursday on the After Prison Show with my man Rashid Shabazz.
All right, Rashid.
And we're going to keep it on going. That's it, man. Peace, love, and blessings. Till next time, man. That's it. That's all. See y'all next time. My name is not Peter, nor is it Paul.